Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 15 Good Minutes. It's your guy, Coach B with the 18. JR, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. The heat has calmed down right now. Got a little water coming. Everything's good.
Weather's good with JR. How about you, Freddie? Still got some 110, 115s going on there?
One of my employees yesterday told me that in DC that they were having I guess a storm or something yesterday. And I'm thinking when she's telling me this, I'm like, what the F are you telling me for? I mean, y'all give no, seriously. I was like, okay, you work from home 100%. Y'all get wind and rain. I'm here in Texas where it's 104, 105. I got my own weather advisory stuff that I'm dealing with out here. I mean, what? I mean, I said, okay, be safe. I mean, what you want me to do?
He's just trying to advise you. It was rough. I was at today I had to do a technology symposium at the Gaylord Conference Center, and I'll say about 60 or 65% of my team that was supposed to fly in from Chicago couldn't get here because the weather was really bad yesterday. Same thing we had two guys that were coming from San Diego. They couldn't get here either. So thankfully I had enough East Coasters to show up, man, the booth and stuff like that. Cause it was for a while, man, it was just rough. I'd say about an hour here. I don't know what it was like, out there in Maryland, but it was touch and go here for a minute yesterday.
It rained steady, but the thunder and everything passed.
We're all here. We got a light one today. Different people in the NBA and maybe just famous people, but mostly NBA guys were picking their all-time, starting five. And it got us to talking in the group chat. And I said, let's do it right here. So I'm going to start with you, JR, being the senior statesman of the group. Your all-time NBA starting five is who?
Well, I kind of went with mostly with a lot of the guys picked. I mean, really it's Jordan Johnson, Robinson, Russell, Wilt, and hold on, I got it right here. I'm going to make sure I'm right. I'm telling you guys. Okay, so I had Magic, Bird. Yeah, Bird was the last guy. That's my five.
So give them to me in order again. I didn't catch
so
it.
It was Magic. I'm sorry, Michael, Bird, Magic, Wilt, and Russell.
Freddie, any challenges to those five?
You say Magic?
Or questions?
You said Magic, Mike, Bird, Wilt, and
Russell.
And Russell.
I mean,
Michael too. Don't forget Michael now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really. I mean, for me, you only gonna get points from like two of those guys, really.
You say you're gonna get points from two of them.
From two of them, right? You're gonna get points. But I mean, it's not a bad list. It's just
no. You're going to get points. Russell scored points. Wilt scored points. So I'm trying to figure out where you're going to get from two.
What I'm saying is,
those would be the two that I would challenge.
You have to assume that that five is playing against my five or Rusty's five. You know what I mean? That's why I say how you gonna get points. That's what I'm saying. I know they can get buckets.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole team gets buckets.
Any honorable mentions for you, JR?
Yeah, Oscar Robinson and John Havlicek.
Okay, so
his numbers don't quite compare to Magic, but he's a fighter up there. He's up there. He didn't have as many accolades, but he had points and assists and all of the others. And the rings, he had 8 rings.
I think it's interesting, at least starting off with JR, because his starting five as well as his honorable mentions are probably slightly older than mine, and I know they're slightly older than Freddie's. But good choices there. I'm going to pivot over to you, Freddie. Your NBA all-time starting five are who?
It's tough because if you're going with a tradition, or you just starting
you and JR both start off with the explanation.
Okay,
Who's your give? I don't want to hear it's tough. I don't want to hear what it's starting. Your starting five.
My starting five,
straight up,
would be Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Duncan, Tim Duncan, and Shaq. That would be my starting five.
Okay, so let me say it again. Kobe, Jordan, LeBron,
LeBron,
Timmy,
Dunk,
and Shaq.
that. Yeah.
Right. JR, any challenges or any questions on those five to Freddie?
I really don't, because those guys are great in their eras. I mean, how could you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can look at point. Everybody's almost. In fact, none of these guys that we're talking about are in the top echelon of the scoring leaders. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're amongst the stars, but they're not all. They aren't the stars in scoring. So I mean,
isn't LeBron like?
well, yo, he is. He is. I'm sorry.
One.
Excuse me. He's one. But I'm
Right.
talking about. I mean, you got like Durant there, Melo. You got all these guys that's in there. You know, so I have no argument with his reasoning.
Who
Whatever.
wins the game between his five and your five?
My five. I just think that Wilt's a big man. He's gonna do his thing.
I mean, and Duncan and Shaq aren't, you know.
Right. Right.
But I still got Michael, and I got Bird, and I got Magic. So you know what I'm saying? I think we win.
Now,
who's your point guard on that team?
Pick one.
No, you pick one. It's your team.
Okay.
Who's your point guard?
I'll put Magic out there.
See, I purposely put LeBron because LeBron could play the point, right?
He's a point forward,
right?
You know, but I think he's a point forward in the image of Magic. You know what I mean? Magic was the first true big guy that I saw bringing the ball up. Yeah. Freddie, give me some honorable mentions if you have any.
My honorable mentions would be Magic, Bird,
he said all my
Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Durant.
All good. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna give you my starting five. My all-time starting five in NBA: John Stockton, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal. And for me, you know, and again, it's probably just a personal thing with me. I need a really, really strong point guard. And I'm not saying Magic isn't. Yeah. But I wrestled, Freddie, between Stockton and Jason Kidd. You know what I mean? That assist to turnover ratio was legit. You couldn't steal it from him. I mean, John Stockton was damn near 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And I think for me, just I just did the eye test for the most part. I wasn't reading a bunch of numbers or any of that stuff. You know, Shaq in his heyday, I saw a lot of big men, but I mean, he just dominated. I'll give you some of my honorable mentions, and you can tell me if you guys have any challenges with it. But similar to yours, Freddie, my honorable mentions: Bird, Magic, Allen Iverson, Hakeem, again, Jason Kidd, Steph Curry. Right. Those were all people that I had as honorable mentions. But if I had to go with that solid five, it's interesting that three of them played for the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, that didn't factor anything into it, but I felt it was very easy for me to pick them. I got stuck right there on the point guard.
How many of your guys were really good defenders?
Really good defenders. Mike's a really good defender. Stockton was a really good defender. LeBron in his heyday, and Kobe was strong. I got speed. I got talent. I can finish at the rim. I wasn't as, for my 5G, I wasn't as you know, center focused as I think you were with two, you know, with say, you know, Russell and Wilt. I wrestled with Timmy like Freddie did for a while, but when I looked at the size of what I call the middle tier for me, you know, Jordan and Kobe, and then LeBron right there, I felt that I had speed, quickness, shooting ability, finishing at the rim, you know, all of those things. And I could probably sub out, man, 2 or 3 of my honorable mentions and still feel pretty good about it. But I know the exercise today was just to kind of, you know, go with a starting five.
I think with my 2 old men, work ethic is going to be instilled.
And I don't know, man. Your group didn't have a whole lot of workout ethic. You know,
yeah, but they played hard
up,
and they played with Chuck Taylors. They didn't have my pinky toe hurt and all that. You know.
And if we're playing today, you know, you got a couple guys that can't even fathom shooting a 3-ball.
Well,
right?
It was see, and that's the whole thing about who's the greatest, and you have to really look at the.
I tried to stay away from who was the greatest, though. Yeah,
because even in the games, the seasons expanded each time. You know, so somebody would have more points, but they played more games in some cases. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to define it, except if you're doing defense and all that kind of things.
I don't know. I look at those things, but I look at the eye test as well. Who seemed to show up every day? Who seemed to give you that? Now, I mean, Bird, you know, played hurt a lot.
Yep.
Right. And just, you know, toughed it out. That whole team did. You know what I'm saying? Kevin McHale did as well. So I don't think you could go back into your point, and maybe something we do in the future. But I didn't want to say who do you think is the greatest player ever, because for me, I have to put him in. Then I will get categories, you know, yes. Older, newer, you know, that I have to factor a lot of things, but just 5 cats that I'd want to lace them up and get on the floor. And, you know, I think if we were in playoffs against you two teams, I think we come out on top. I'm just, you know, so yeah, that was it. Go ahead.
It was 162 as well, I think.
They don't play 162 now, so that's got to be different.
162.
Yeah. That's baseball,
62, man. 162.
That's baseball. That is not basketball.
Oh, no, I thought I put now. You know, my eyes is acting up a little.
Yeah, they gotta be baseball.
That right.
Yeah, it's not basketball because if it's in the 80s right now, it wasn't double that.
I put MLB.
We haven't had a question of the week in a while, so we'll throw that out to our audience. Who's your starting 5? NBA all-time period. Just your starting 5. We don't need any of your honorable mentions. Tell us who you like, and if we get some good feedback, we'll be sure to bring up some of that next week. Before we roll out, let me check with the lads. JR, you got anything to say today, man?
Nope, I'm good.
Freddie, anything to say?
Did anyone happen to see that situation that occurred in Montgomery, Alabama? I think.
Yeah. I saw that.
You know, I don't advocate violence. I don't. But that situation was totally avoidable, and you know, it was just terrible how you know, those individuals, they attacked the deckhand, you know, for him doing his job, and you know, it was uncalled for. But you know, I'm not mad that you had people come to his aid and his rescue, because, you know, it was, I mean, just don't park there.
Yep. You know, well, he was told not to park in the first place.
You know, it was, you know, when you look at it and you watch it, some of it's kind of funny. You know, you had the young man get off the boat, swimming across. I'm like,
he come to get some. That young fella swam across the channel. Like, wait a minute. But I think it speaks to a mindset, though, Freddie. To me, when I watched it, watch the reaction of the subsequent attackers. As soon as they see something, oh, we in on it. Didn't even know what the whole thing was about. It's that whole mentality, like, let's do that. But then all of a sudden, when reinforcements show up, nobody want none. For Freddie's, I got something to say. It's real. People think like that. You know, we every time we think, you know, there's progress, don't be fooled by the bullshit is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all it took, the dude telling you can't park here, and that's what you on the Kirk out, that tells me it's a mindset. That tells me that you've been waiting to do something, or you have a certain mentality, you know, white versus black anyway, and it's unacceptable. But for everybody else out there, I say, you know, be mindful. And like Freddie, I don't condone violence either. I think the right actions happened in that day, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Help came, you know, so
that's it was entitlement, as well as it had to be alcohol involved in it.
Yep.
You know, because that it was just erratic. I mean, there was people around. So y'all jumped this guy and you thought nothing was gonna happen. People just gonna sit back and watch it and Facebook it. Nah, you got dealt with. So you know, anybody that you know that instigated and initiated, whatever you got, you deserved it. I mean, that's just what it is.
100%. Appreciate that. That was a very good. I got something to say. I think we were all thinking it. Glad Freddie brought it up. So that's all we got time for this week. It's good to be back. Don't forget our question of the week. And until then, we hope you guys have a good rest of the week and an even better weekend. We're out.